Intel reported strong first quarter earnings on Thursday after the closing bell, but lots of focus by investors on the company's outlook, which are putting some pressure on shares of Intel today. Let's get right to Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger. Pat, thanks for always making time with us. I know these are busy days. You're always traveling the country, but thank you as always. Let's talk a little bit about that outlook, and then we'll go back to the quarter a little bit. Tell us and explain to us some of the things you're seeing that warranted that little bit more cautious second quarter guidance than the street was expecting.
Yeah, thanks, Sozzi. And yeah, coming off a strong Q1, and we see a lot of progress in the second half of the year, but a little bit more tepid in Q2. And some of that was strength of Q1, right? We were able to see a little bit better earnings than we expected in Q1. So some of that was there. But overall, the market is a little bit weaker, even as everybody is projecting the second half being much stronger. So that outlook, a little bit of reaction for it. But from our view, hey, a first half, second half story similar to what we saw in 23 is what we're pretending. And we have a lot of great things happening in the second half of the year. So we feel very comfortable with the outlook that we had. Very proud that we had a good, solid execution in the first quarter of the year, and the long-term strategy is coming together as we would expect. We got a lot done in the first quarter, a lot to build on for the future.
Pat, that weakness, let's look at it from two perspectives. Is it PC demand, or is it demand from big companies or enterprises?
I'll say overall, the market was a little bit weaker as we see it shaping up in Q2, but returning in the second half of the year. So it's a bit of market weakness. We also saw some unique issues. The AI PC is hot, and we weren't able to satisfy all of the demand requests that we've got. So we're meeting our commitments, but we're not hitting all of the upside requests. So a little bit of our own opportunity there that we weren't able to fully realize yet, that we're working hard to satisfy those market requests. But overall, we also have businesses that are coming out of inventory challenges as well. We saw that with Mobileye, our FPGA business, our NEX business. So as they finish their inventory improvements that we see just happening very naturally in those businesses, that the second half will be markedly better as well. So unique inventory, some in the market, and some of our own catching up to accelerated demand, particularly in the hot AI PC category.
I haven't heard you say that before, hot AI PC demand. Now, obviously, these products are just hitting the market now. Are you still looking for 40 million shipments this year?
Yeah, I'm driving our team super aggressively, and every day the market is reinforcing this enthusiasm for the category, and we believe that we can go over 40 million units this year. I'm going to push our team super aggressively. Obviously, the Core Ultra is the defining product for the AI PC category. We'll be introducing our second generation product with codename Lunar Lake and Arrow Lake later this year. So as competitors start to show up with their first, we're delivering a second generation. Our third generation product that we call Panther Lake is our first on 18A, the next generation process technology, and that'll be coming forward next year. So we really have a strong roadmap lined up. Lots of ISVs, compelling use case across, collaboration applications, developer applications, training. And I'm even showing off how we're using the AI PC in our own factories for improved yield and performance management of our factories. So really exciting period of time. I think the biggest cycle of PC surge is just getting started with the AI PC. And of course, a Windows refresh later this year will be helpful for the category as well.
Pat, every time I talk to you, I'm always blown away by how much there's just going on inside of Intel right now. Are all these new products that we've talked about today and then over the past year, are they all on schedule for this year to release on time and customers will get them?
Yeah, one of the things I'm really proud about over the 3 years of rebuilding Intel is we've gone from a period where customers couldn't trust us to hit our product schedules, and now we're hitting the front end of our best case schedules with customers pretty much across the board. And that is just really rebuilding their confidence. And for instance, we just announced Sierra Forest, our first Xeon 6 product with our very efficient, power performant cores as part of it. And that was the best case schedule that we delivered. The first product on Intel 3 coming into the marketplace, and the first time in a decade that the U.S. has been manufacturing the most leading edge technology in the world. So products like that are rebuilding confidence. A stronger product line allows us to stabilize and regain market share. So overall, we're doing what we said we would, and I'm proud of the execution of our team in making that happen.
Pat, very early this morning, I was taping my new podcast, Opening Bid, and the guest that we had on, he really reminded me that over time, stocks do in fact go up, and it's all about investing for the long term. And I think a lot of investments you're putting into your business today are for the long term. So by 2030, what does Intel actually look like?
Well, by 2030, we believe that we will become the leading AI systems foundry and the second largest foundry in the world. A business that today, as you see in the numbers, is tiny today for external foundry, but we see this becoming a very large capability. And consistent with the theme that we've talked about, the world needs geographically balanced, trusted, sustainable supply chains. And we're going to make that happen in the semiconductor segment. We saw the CHIPS Act coming forward this last quarter as really putting that stamp on the national champion Intel and what we're doing with the total of the $45 billion grant package that was there. The milestones that we're hitting in our own technology development, and these new products are coming to life, showing that we're hitting the technical and manufacturing milestones to make those real. And as those products and technologies ramp, the financials, as I would like to say, every quarter for my foundry business gets better from now to the end of the decade. Revenues improve, margins improve, profitability will be growing. This will just be that every quarter we just see that progress as we go through literally the rest of the decade. So I'm very confident that we're doing what we said we would, maybe the most important strategic turnaround in corporate history, and we are on track to make that happen.
Pat, lastly, before I go, like I mentioned, you have a lot going on at Intel. From a leadership perspective, how do you know where to spend or devote most of your time? One minute I see you hanging out with the president, and now you're talking to me. You had the earnings call last night. What's your days looking like?
Well, obviously, to me, spending time with customers and my engineering and manufacturing teams, those are, to me, the most critical things that I do. Right? Making sure that we're rebuilding that customer relationship, our products are hitting the needs. And then, I'm a geek at heart, as you know, Brian, and spending time with the engineers, making sure we're rebuilding the execution machine and the technology roadmaps. But as any CEO, you have many other hats to wear, whether that's financial hat, whether that's the press and relationship hat, such as this one, whether that's the government affairs hat that you see me wear. But the ones that I want to spend the vast majority of my time are the customer hat and the internal facing hat to make sure we're rebuilding this iconic company, a critical role, for the nation, the industry, and the world. And we are on that every day.